What's goody? Hey man, so what was looking like it was going to be an extremely boring trade deadline has now become an extremely memorable and extremely shocking trade deadline because we have gotten just deal after deal over the last 24 hours or so, and it was really kicked off by the Jaren Jackson deal to Utah and everything like that. We already made a whole video about that, so I don't think I need to talk about that again. But since then, we have had a couple of pretty major trades go down, and I think the first one we're going to talk about here is one that honestly could have a video all on its own, but I think these other trades are big enough to where I'm going to talk about them kind of towards the end of this video. But the majority of this video is going to be focused on this one trade. The Los Angeles Clippers are trading James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Listen, I have so many thoughts about this, and my immediate thoughts about this trade are kind of the same as they are now. I absolutely love this for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I understand the concerns about, James Harden, every team he goes to, he gets there and he's a floor raiser, and that's phenomenal and everything like that. You're going to make the playoffs. You're going to be one of the top seeds. You're probably going to have home court advantage and everything like that, and that's all fine and that's all good. Y'all are going to do good things. Y'all are probably going to make it out of the first round. Congratulations. But you're not going to make it past the second round. You're not going to make it past the conference finals. You're not going to win that championship. At a certain point, you're going to have inconsistent James Harden games. You're going to have games where James Harden doesn't give you what you want him to give you, and I feel you, and that has been something that has been consistent throughout James Harden's career. I feel you. But when this trade happened, my homie Jalen texted in the group chat, we might go to the finals. He's a Cavs fan. And I'm not going to lie to you. I agree with him. I think for me, this immediately makes the Cleveland Cavaliers the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I understand James Harden age is a concern, and I understand he's not necessarily the healthiest player in the world. He's literally out with an injury right now. But when we look at the Darius Garland toe after toe injury, he was having a turf toe on his one toe, and then he was doing okay with that. He finally comes back, and then it's like within a game or two, or within a couple of weeks, something goes wrong with the other toe. It's just like a tough situation for Darius Garland. Things haven't been working out with that core, and I think they were starting to panic a little bit. They were doing good things. They were winning games recently and everything like that, but it kind of was like there was only so much they were doing. They're right now tied with the Raptors for the 4 seed. They're about 2.5 games behind the Knicks and the Celtics for the 2 and the 3 seed. But this is a year where the Eastern Conference is really open, and I really love that the Cleveland Cavaliers said, listen, this is a year where we have the opportunity to make a big move. We're not going to do anything crazy to where we're gonna trade 3 guys, including Evan Mobley, for Giannis. But instead what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, we're going to trade a guy who we were already on the fence about, who we think the fan base is already on the fence about, and we were going to say, listen, we're going to get James Harden, a proven veteran. We know what he's going to give us, and even if he can't give you consistent outings in the playoffs, if he gives you 3 or 4 good games, I think you trust Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Evan Mobley to make up the rest, especially if you've got a healthy team now. And when we look at some of the moves they did, where you've got a guy like Dennis Schroeder who can come in and back up James Harden and maybe give you a big spark off the bench in specific games if James Harden's not giving you what you want James Harden to give you, or even if a game where you've got James Harden cooking but maybe not Donovan Mitchell so much, maybe Dennis Schroeder comes in and helps that way. You've still got Sam Morril for the shooting. You still got Dean Wade, and right now I'm not seeing Max Strus on their lineup, but I believe Max Strus is still a Cleveland Cavalier unless he got moved. Yeah, he's on the trade block, but he didn't get moved yet. Okay, Cleveland Cavaliers are still, I know he's been hurt the whole season, everything like that, but you still got Max Strus if he can ever get healthy. Jalen Tyson's had a good season. I like the move. You got Keon Ellis. Lonzo Ball can probably play some spot minutes here and there in the playoffs, even if he's not shooting the ball well. If you need a little bit of defense, or if he can come in and shoot well for one series in the first round, you can live with that. I like this team, man, and with the Knicks not looking great, and it doesn't look like they're going to be getting Giannis right now or anything like that happening, I really love this for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I understand. I feel like a lot of people probably are not going to be as high on this as I am, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's an A+. I don't think this is a move right here that just propels them to be the favorites to win the championship or anything like that, but I do believe that this is an A move for them, at the very least an A- move for them, because I think this immediately, to me, makes them my favorites to win the Eastern Conference. I'm excited to watch that backcourt. I'm excited to see Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the back end holding up that defense. We know the defense from that backcourt is not going to be anything special, but I think that's why that Keon Ellis addition is huge. I think that's why Lonzo Ball might start to get a couple more minutes. That's why I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if before tomorrow's deadline, maybe they make a move to get another defensive wing. I know they just got rid of DeAndre Hunter, who's technically a 3-and-D wing, but this year he wasn't really doing that for them. But yeah, if they could get like really just another defensive stopper, man. Like I know you have Evan Mobley, I know you have Jared Allen, I know you have Keanu Ellis, but I just want somebody where it's like, I know you're not going to be able to get a Dylan Brooks type of player. I know you're not going to be able to get a Herb Jones type of guy probably, but can you just go out there and get a guy that's a defender, that's a bigger body, that you could stick on a Shea in the finals, that you could stick on a Jalen Brunson and stick some size on him? That you could stick on some Tyrese, that you could stick on a Tyrese Maxey and maybe try to put some size on him if the speed doesn't kill you too much, maybe you can stick some size on him unless he just blows right past him. A guy that you could stick on like a Brandon Ingram, on like, you know what I'm saying, like something like that. Like I feel like they just need one of those guys. I think that's the one thing where I look at this team and it's like, damn, if they had an OG or if they had a McHale, boom, cherry on top. If they had a Herb Jones, boom, cherry on top. If they could, hey man, to an extent, go try to get Miles Bridges. I mean, if you can, like he does something like that for you, and he adds another score to you. You'd probably have to give him something you like. So I think that's very unrealistic actually. But see what you would have to give up to get Herb Jones. Maybe if you have to give up the first round pick, or I would hesitate to give up 2, but if you have to give up a first round pick to go get Herb Jones and a player you don't really care too much about, I think you would be willing to go do that if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then for the LA Clippers, I like this move less for them, mostly because I just believe that James Harden is a better player. And I just think the Clippers were finally starting to do something. So I think James Harden claimed he didn't request a trade, but I don't really see why the Clippers would have done this otherwise. So I just don't really like this for them. I feel like this is like a really weird thing with the chemistry. I feel like this could be a really weird thing in the locker room. And I feel like whatever hope they had might have just kind of, and not necessarily end it, because I don't want to make it seem like I think Darius Garland's just some terrible basketball player or something, because I do not believe that. Darius Garland's a very good player. I think he's becoming underrated. But at the same time, I just think the locker room impacts of a team that was already doing some tough things, and Darius Garland's already out right now. So who are you going to be starting at the point guard? Are you going to start Chris Dunn with Kobe Sanders? I just don't know I just don't know, man. Something about this for me, I just don't love it for the Clippers. I can't really describe why this just doesn't feel good to me for the Clippers, but it just doesn't. I just don't like the way that this seems for the Clippers. I don't like the way this kind of, I don't know, it just feels weird to me that the way this kind of went down for the Clippers. If we go look at the Western Conference standings right now, they're already a team that was on the outside looking in. They're still sitting, okay, never mind. They're at the 9th seed. They're a game above Portland. And you don't think the Grizzlies are going to move up. You don't really think the Mavs are going to move up. Now, the Jazz could move up with Jaren Jackson, but I mean, they're so many games behind. They're 8 games behind the Clippers. You don't think they're going to catch them. So what I said about their hope being gone for the season, I completely take back, because the only team I really see below them overtaking them would be Portland, maybe Dallas, but I really just think it would only be Portland. So they're definitely going to be a play-in team still, if I had to guess. I don't know, though. I just don't really see them going beyond that necessarily. Like, it depends who they would play in the play-in, but if they played the Warriors, I don't think if they played the Warriors or the Timberwolves, I think I would take either the Warriors or the Timberwolves. Maybe. I don't know about the Warriors because Jimmy Butler's not there, but yeah, I just don't love this for them. But then we move on, man, because there were some other deals yesterday that I do want to talk about before this video ends. Chicago Bulls, Kawhi, by the way, congrats on being an All-Star. You should have been it from the first place, but whatever. Chicago Bulls are trading center Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons and the second-round pick. And listen, I saw a lot of Celtics fans saying they hated this because they felt like their team had no guards. I just don't feel like that. Like, you have Derek White, you have Peyton Pritchard, Baylor Shimon's played spot minutes, Hugo Gonzalez has been good in minutes. Jaylen Brown can play guard if you want to play a bigger lineup that has Jordan Walsh, Sam Hauser, and Vucevic, or maybe Vucevic and Neemias Queta or something, some variation, maybe Josh Minot, that has some variation of some bigger guys in there if you want to move Jaylen Brown up to like the 2 and have Peyton Pritchard or Derek White in there at the 1 with him, probably Peyton Pritchard. I don't really hate that for them. I don't think that Anthony Simons, like, don't get me wrong, I liked Anthony Simons, and I do like Anthony Simons as a player, and I did kind of want to see Anthony Simons in Boston. I kind of thought that Anthony Simons could have had a good year in Boston, and he hasn't been bad this year. He just hasn't been great, and I just think he didn't really fit what they were doing long-term, and I just don't think they really wanted him there long-term, to be honest with you. I don't really necessarily believe that he's a Joe Mazzulla guy. So I don't hate this for them, and the thing that I like is Nikola Vucevic. You're getting a center. He's older. I don't know when Nikola Vucevic's contract expires. Because I think, is he an expiring deal? expires at the end of the 25-26 season. So yeah, it's an expiring deal. You just make a run. You see, hey, maybe if Tatum comes back, we have Nikola Vucevic just sitting here, and if we can't get another center on the market, maybe we just re-sign Vucevic and just have a solid center for the next year or two before he retires. I don't hate this for them. You needed another big man. Neemias Queta has been good, but you didn't really want him to be your full-time starting center come playoff time, especially if Joel Embiid's going to look the way he is, especially if you're going to have to go against a guy like that. I'm trying to think like a Karl-Anthony Towns. You don't really, you know what I'm saying? That's just not something you really want. And that's not necessarily that you want Vucevic guarding those guys, but you just kind of wanted another bigger body in there to help with some rebounding, just to help to make sure you could draw up some fouls. You don't want Neemias Queta in there getting 5 fouls in the first half on Joel Embiid, and then your backup is Luka Garza. And like, even though he's been solid, it's like, on Joel Embiid, that's probably 50 points. You know what I'm talking about? So I like this for Boston. And then for Chicago, I'm really confused because some of the first moves they were doing in this trade market, I really liked. I liked them getting involved and getting expiring deals, getting older guys, like getting, I think it wasn't Nurkic, but it was another like foreign center. That's kind of at the end. Dario Saric, I think it was Dario Saric who they got, and it's like, that's something. Just go do that. You know what I'm saying? Why not? But then you go out here and you get Anthony Simons while also getting Mike Conley, who it seems like they're going to cut, which is whatever, or buy out, whatever. And Jaden Ivey, I just don't really understand. Like, are you looking to trade Josh Giddey? I'm assuming they're still looking to trade Kobe White, but it was looking like the Minnesota Timberwolves didn't want him, and we're going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves in a second, who traded Mike Conley to the Chicago Bulls, but it's looking like they didn't want Kobe White because they're trying to go get somebody else, which I think is insane, and I don't think it's going to happen, but we will talk about it in a second. I just don't really understand this. Are you going to move on from Anthony Simons? Are you going to move on from Jaden Ivey? Are you going to try to keep both of those guys? Are you going to keep one of those guys? Are you going to move on from Trey Jones? Are you going to move on from Ayo Dosunmu? Are you going to... I don't know what they're doing. And I'm very interested to see how they're kind of going to flip these things around because, like, I can't really make an opinion about what the Bulls have done because I don't understand it. Like, maybe I'm too stupid basketball-wise. Like, maybe I just don't have the ball knowledge to understand it. So if you understand it in the comments, please explain it to me. I'm going to go watch other videos from other creators, but I wanted to make this video without seeing anyone else's other reactions so I wasn't biased with my takes. But yeah, I was just confused by this. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves. The move with Mike Conley, and the reason they didn't want to pick up Kobe White was because they were reportedly trying to make way for the money for Giannis Antetokounmpo to come to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I just don't. Who would have to be involved in the trade is my only question. I'm assuming you got to get rid of Julius Randle. Who else has to be in there? Naz Reid? Is that enough money? I don't even know if that's enough money. And does Rob Dillingham have to be in there too? Is there picks that have to be in there on top of those three players? Is it not even those three? Is it just a combination of those three? I'm confused by it. And part of me, the reason I've been so, this is an idea that like in group chats and stuff where I've been with my homies and everything, I kind of just haven't talked much about this idea is because I just don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, and they don't have to give up Jaden McDaniels or Dante DiVincenzo or Rudy Gobert, we're talking about a team where, yeah, the spacing's a little questionable, but I mean, Anthony Edwards has turned himself into a great shooter. Jaden McDaniels is a good shooter. Dante DiVincenzo is a good shooter, a great shooter. You look at these guys and you're like, those three, Giannis at the 4, Rudy Gobert at the 5. Now, it depends. Are you missing Naz Reid? So are you looking for another backup big? Are you missing Rob Dillingham? So now is Bones Highland sliding in as your full-time backup 1? And Jalen Clark is sliding as the full-time backup 2. Does this change what Terrence Shannon Jr.'s minutes look like? Did they trade Terrence Shannon Jr.? They might have. I know he's hurt right now, but did they trade him? No, they did not trade him. Okay, so yeah, I mean, does this mean Terrence Shannon Jr. gets an increased role, which is something that I would be a fan of because I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is a good ball player. I think he could be one of those like role players that every type of team would love to have in the future. So I think that would be a good thing for them. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I don't really want to talk too much about it unless something else happens because like, I'm assuming, is this something they're going to try to do within the next 24 hours, or is this something they're trying to make money for in the offseason? I'm assuming this is something they're trying to make money for like right now today, to go try to make a push right now today. And if they did, we would immediately be talking about them up there with the Thunder, the Nuggets, which, I mean, I think they're already up there in a tier with the Spurs and the Rockets, and I think they're like, that's a tier right below where the Nuggets and the Thunder are. So, I mean, yeah, I think they would immediately propel themselves up into that tier. I mean, obviously, we'd have to see the on-court product, but I mean, that's Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Edwards with a good defense around them and some okay spacing. I mean, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Edwards at the end of the day. with a DPOY behind him. That's 2 DPOYs. Whew, hey, man. Wow, I'm kind of talking myself into loving that idea. I would be very, very interested to see what happens there. That would make the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've already been to the conference finals, 2 straight years, 3 straight years? 2 straight? Because they went last year against OKC, and then the year before that. Did they go against Dallas? They did, because they beat Denver to get there. Within the year before that, it was not them, because I think that was when it was Denver versus LA. So they've been to the conference finals like back-to-back years. That would be insane. So yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Keep God first as always, all right? I love y'all. Hit me up in the comments. Explain what the Bulls are doing to me. Hit me up on Twitter and everything like that, all right? More videos to come as this trade deadline continues to happen. I'm sorry to Charlotte Hornet fans. That video hasn't even been recorded yet because things keep happening that I keep needing to push that video back because this is like urgent breaking news. So look for that sometime this weekend around. And I'll do like a Super Bowl prediction too. So remind me about that. I'll put that in my notes. Do a Super Bowl prediction. Look for that around sometime before Sunday. All right. Peace out. I love y'all.